Hello, New York. New York session. Welcome. Today is the 13th of May. I will be trading the DAX and the NASDAQ in this New York session. By the way, a short update. So I'm changing the symbol I'm using from Germany 40 to DE 40. It's a short update if you want to also use those. They are more precise with the broker. Do you guys hear anything? I'm not doing a picture. I'm not showing the video. Hope that is okay. I'm just gonna see if you are hearing me right now. Assume you're hearing me. Sayed Sadat. Yeah, you're hearing me. Great. All right, let's see. Do we have any news today? There was PPI news at 2:30. All right, let's see. Marking out New York session open and pre-market open. And we're seeing here, what do we have here on the, there we go. We just changed it. There's crude oil news right there at 4:30. All right, let's see. Let me double check. I'm recording. Currently recording. All right, this is on the DAX. Let's see here. Not sure why we have 1, 2 lines at the top. All right, got it. So this line is for the monthly Monday, monthly open. Right. Remove that. Okay. Does it affect something right there? No. And this is for the weekly open. Monday, this is where the market opened. All right. Now I got it. All right, focus on the charts. And this is what I'm seeing. Let's go to the higher time frames. They're obviously bearish. We just swept this 4-hour high right there. On the daily, we are bearish. On the 1 hour, we are pretty bearish. We have a break of structure right there. Going to the downside, and we have a sweep on the higher time frames on these highs. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at perhaps this 1 hour liquidity is getting swept. Maybe there's no 15-minute liquidities resting. Maybe this creates a 15-minute liquidity after this candle closes. Or it taps into this fair value gap on the 15-minute. So if you just look at the 1-minute model, you can just good morning. You can just take it out of the 1-minute phase to the 15-minute phase. So the 1 minute equals 15 minutes in the higher time frames. So it will become that the liquidity sweep on the 4-hour becomes like a 15-minute or a 1-hour liquidity sweep. And then a break of structure is on the 15-minute. There's a break of structure on the 15-minute. There's also a fair value gap on the 15-minute. So everything that's happening on the checklist of the 1-minute model just gets amplified to the 15-minute time frame. That's how you can trade the 1-minute model on higher time frames, basically. So if it reacts to the 15-minute fair value gap right here, putting your stop loss underneath the liquidity areas or this liquidity area, they're marking out. These are higher time frame trades, but still It can give you some good profits. It's the 1 minute model amplified into higher time frames, basically. All right. See what's going to happen today. Going to the NASDAQ, looking at the NASDAQ. We are seeing a pretty uncertain bias right here. We have a bearish, bullish bias going to the upside during the Asia session, and we hit the London session right here, and it basically just continued to the upside, not giving us any reaction. And then it swept a 4-hour liquidity. It didn't sweep the all-time highs. So I'm a bit neutral based on where the trend is going on the NASDAQ. Sorry about that. Excuse me. But I'm still going to mark out the 1-hour higher time frames with the 1-hour liquidity right there. And I'm not really seeing a clear direction of where the market is going. But we'll see. Will this go like this? Or will it sweep some liquidities on these 15 minutes? Sweep liquidity 15 minutes and then continue to the downside. We will see. We can have, this is just a perfect example. The first move, we can go to the 5-minute candle. The first move based on the opening of the pre-market did a drop of 82 points. So this can continue to the upside, take out this liquidity, or continue to the downside, take out this liquidity, and continue in the opposite direction. We'll see. I'm expecting more that the price continues down, takes this out. Maybe we can take a trade from here. We'll see. I'm setting an alert on the 1-hour liquidity, and I'm leaving it like that. All right. Now we have 1 minute left until market opens, and it's just to sit and wait, basically. Right, it's just just swept 1 hour liquidity. Let's see if it gives us a reaction. Maybe we can take a trade out of this. Seems like the DAX is not moving that much. What is going on? Market open right here, and it just. But I'm looking at the Nasdaq. This might give me a clean setup. Let's see. There's a 1 minute fair value gap right here that might react off of, or it just might spike up and leave us behind. Right. The DAX. It just tapped into the I'm going to focus on NASDAQ right now. The DAX, just swift liquidity to the upside. And we will see if we can enter a trade right here, going to the upside. Will it give us a break of structure? Will it give us a break of structure and a better fair value gap reaction? Let's see. Yeah. My initial thought was to take a trade to the upside, and now when this, unfortunately, it didn't close, this candle did not close. It's a bit of a, did it close, did it not close underneath it if you watch the broker, but it closed directly on the line. This is a very, a bit of a risky trade to take. So my initial thought was if this breaks underneath the fair value gap, then it's a good way to take an espresso and take a simple 1-to-1 or something like that. But unfortunately, it did not close underneath. Right, removing these lines. Let's see what the DAX is doing. This is the Asia low. I'm just changing color to it so I don't miss it. Asia low opened right there, or created a low right there, and it might take out the Asia low. We'll see. I'm not seeing any potential entries on the DAX. There's no clear liquidity area. On the higher time frame, there is a break of a fair value gap on the 15-minute right there. Where one can take, based off of the reaction on this candle, take a trade going to the downside like so. I'm looking for this low, Asia session low, to be swept before taking anything. The 1 hour candle is about to close in approximately 5 minutes. I just took a short right there. This is a pretty risky trade. It's an espresso. This is based off a invalidated fair value gap right there on this area because the candle closed underneath it and it invalidated these two fair value gaps, this one and this one. Let's just wait and see. I marked out an alert on this 1 hour Asia session low. The 1 hour candle is about to close, just closed a minute ago. What's the DAX doing? The DAX is, this was a nice reaction to the fair value gap on the 15 minutes. Still undecided. I'm gonna close this trade at break even. And I'm gonna remove it. The reason for it is lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This candle closed. This is probably gonna create another lower high and then a lower low. So we basically got stuck in the middle. And these reactions like these are, the market is undecided. Because an espresso is supposed to do a move like this one when we enter it. Do we move like this one? It's not worth being inside of them and building stress, unnecessary stress. So if this candle could have closed like a pip or two beneath, then this is a trade I would have taken, right? And then taken maybe a 1-to-1 or maybe draw it out as much as possible, 1 to 1.5. But it didn't. But this setup didn't. Mm. So you're not gonna create a higher high? That's fine. 6 more minutes. Right on the DAX. I'm waiting for it either to sweep this liquidity. I'm gonna put an alert right there, or this high right there, which is also liquidity on the 4 hour. There's a 4 hour high right there. So if price sweeps this area, then I'm interested in taking a trade. Before that, not that much. All right, let's see. Let's see. Now, this might be a good setup, but what I'm thinking about is that there is no liquidity sweep. There's no sweep of liquidity. So we had a 1 hour liquidity resting right here. Now, with this low happened, basically there was no liquidity left. The 1 hour liquidity became a move to the downside, right? On the 15-minute, there are liquidities resting right here. Now the question becomes, do we take a trade out of a fairly uncertain bias and a 15-minute liquidity? No, it doesn't sound that strong. And we have the Asia low resting right there. Right, I might take an espresso right here, waiting on the candle close. No, unfortunately. But this will have been a good long position, perfect long position. Breakup structure. The 1 minute confluences were perfect, but we didn't have any liquidity sweep, unfortunately. And 1 hour Asia low is resting right here. And I can tell you I'm happy I exited the espresso position before, because this is basically what we can get stuck in, these moves. And it created a high right there. High, low, high, low. It needed to create a high and then hopefully to create a low. So that low, the last one, was what I was expecting this to do. So I can enter on this move down to here. But it didn't. Now this is a good setup going to the upside, but there is no liquidity sweep. Now it can still continue to the upside, but it looks like we are moving down. However, if I look at the DAX is still inside the overnight range. What's with the DAX today? Look at the DAX. Still basically just in this area. Yeah, I'm not doing anything until this 1 hour liquidity has been swept. News. There are crude oil inventories coming out at 4:30 in about 8 minutes. So I marked this out not correctly. Should be at 4:30. So these are the news coming out at crude oil inventories. Let me double check the Forex Factory. If I missed anything. Today is the Wednesday, the 13th of May. There's no high impact news on the Forex Factory. However, there's high impact news on crude oil inventories happening in about 8 minutes. I'm going to take a short position on the DAX. Right, just enter the DAX right there, put my stop loss underneath this area. This might either take me out real quick or continue to the downside. The reason for this, we are bearish trend, and liquidity has been swept right here on the 15-minute, and this is an entry I missed right there. Break of structure, clean fair value gap reaction right there, and then it continued to the downside. Now it reached the same area right here, so it can, and usually when we enter this trade, we usually have take profits on the liquidity on the lows right here, and it didn't reach these lows, and the overall trend is basically bearish. So that's why I entered right there. We respected this area. That is also why. We have news coming out in about 4 minutes. Now, last time there was oil inventories, crude oil news that didn't affect the market that much. even if it was high impact news. But we will see. I'm marking this out as red right there. And let's see what's gonna happen. I'm not that worried about the news coming out, but I'm interested to see the reaction of it. And we are pretty close to our stop loss area, so it can affect it a bit. How did it affect the oil? Because these are forecast is 2 million. So the actual became 4 million, double the amount. Something has to be happening right there. Right. Going back to the DAX. Not looking good on this trade. And stopped out now. All right. I'd rather be stopped out in these first minutes than sit inside of a trade for a while and then get stopped out. So, all right, then we know. Removing this. Let's see, do we have another trade entry? We're moving extremely slow on the DAX. Just checking yesterday. The big move usually happens around 4, but this is not happening on the DAX today. We have not moved more than 50 pips, 50 points until from market open. Yeah, I'm not liking the DAX today. On NQ, I'm going to give it a last shot right here. If it gives me a break of structure, and a move to the downside, and I'm expecting it to either move and continue to the downside, continue the bearish trend, or then we leave it. Let's see. Right, we're about to break structure on the DAX to the downside. There's a 5-minute fair value gap right there. Removing this line. There is one fair value gap up here. There's a second one that's about to be created when this candle closes. All right, getting ready. I'm waiting for the time. Yeah, see that? We have 24 seconds left. And let's see what it does. And short. Right. This is a beautiful entry. Yeah. I'm basically done for the day. Taking 2 losses. What an unfortunate day. Huh? It was a beautiful entry. This was a good loss. Unfortunately, did a strong reaction on this 5 minute fair value gap right there. Continue into the upside. So this was a good entry. Why? Because it marked all the boxes. Liquidity sweep, break of structure to the downside, clean, very clean break of structure to the downside, a fair value gap reaction on this fair value gap, the top one, tapped into the 50% mark, and then closed on a bearish candle, which is perfect. And this I entered right there on this second candle, but the position got taken on this area, and we entered from this. And yeah, that's about it. Unfortunately, we got stopped out. I'm checking the Nasdaq. There's no more moves or entries for us to take today. All right, guys, that's about it for this trading session today. There is no trading tomorrow if you check the calendar. So if you're trading on the 18th, on Monday, I'll see you then. If not, then I'll talk to you in the New York session or the London session. All right. Have a great weekend. See you on Monday. Great.